this video, I'm going to be going over the brand new plugin in FL Studio 21 called LuxeVERB. It's an amazing new reverb plugin that is stock with FL. Let's get into it. Right now, I just have a basic default kick, clap, hi-hat pattern. I put the reverb on the clap channel, so this is on channel number 2 in the mixer. I'm going to just put it on default so we can understand it. By the way, like, look at all of these different presets that we have, different envelopes. We'll get into that envelope section in a minute. You can customize that, but these are different envelopes. We have different halls, different pitch shifts, different plates, different rooms, tons and tons of presets to where you really don't even have to get too nerdy with it. Just choose one of these presets. They're all amazing for different things, different kinds of instruments, vocals, you name it. They have vocal plates, different kinds of drum plates, etc. But we can get into like the customization of things where you want to create your own tones. We can get a little bit nerdy with it. So for instance, this is my clap, just a basic pattern. Basic reverb sound on that clap. You have an input wet gain here. You have a low cut and a high cut. You have your reverb decay. This is going to tell you how long your reverb decays and rings out for, basically. Very short. Very long. You can change the brightness of that. As we pull this knob up, you can hear the brightness changing of that reverb. You have a pre-delay. You can choose to go by tempo or not go by tempo. We'll leave that alone for now. The diffusion. Picture yourself in a room and you can hear it like kind of pinging off the walls in different ways. The character. All right, now we get to the feedback section. You can turn this button on right here to activate this section. So you can do a high cut or a low cut on the feedback itself. Let's just boost this decay up so we can hear what's going on. Turn the gain up. You hear really high end on that reverb feedback. Then you could change the pitch of that feedback. All right, so if we turn this high cut all the way up and then we turn this pitch knob all the way up, hear that really high-end stuff going on there. I'm just exaggerating things so you can really hear what's going on. That's what I like to do, especially with new plugins, is really exaggerate the knobs and all the levels. That way I can hear what's going on. I can understand what the plugin is doing more. You can hear that feedback now is a lower pitch. And then you have your output, dry and wet. So now all you're hearing is the reverb that is happening to that clap. You're not hearing the initial clap sound. The wet knob is what the reverb is doing to that clap. And then the dry knob is how much of that original clap sound you want in the mix. So I usually like leave it at 0. And then wet you can mess around with depending on how wet you want it or how dry you want the sound. Specifically, what makes me want to use this plugin more is the sidechain option. Let's just hop right into that aspect of things. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have our kick and our clap. Let's say we want to sidechain the kick to the reverb. We could do it all within this one plugin. Go into the mixer. So we're going to highlight insert number 1, which is the kick. Go over to insert number 2, right click on it and hit sidechain to this track. That's going to connect both of those. So 1 is our kick, 2 is our clap. Then inside of that reverb plugin, we're going to open that back up and go into the sidechain and choose sidechain number 1 and turn that on right there. Now what's going to happen is every time the kick hits and the clap doesn't, that reverb tail that's kind of like in the background that would normally kind of clash with everything can duck down depending on how we mess with that attack, decay, and the smooth knob inside of this envelope section. Now you can physically see that the kick and the clap are both sidechained together, and whenever the kick continuously hits, it ducks down that reverb signal. So that way we get a lot less clashing in the mix. You want your clap to have reverb, say, or your snare to have reverb, or your vocals to have reverb, but you don't want everything to clash, and you don't want that to ring through as loud as everything else does. So that's an easy way to kind of duck down on that, and it just cleans up your mix a lot more. And it's very easy to access it because you know you can access the sidechain right from this plugin. You don't have to add a fruity limiter or anything like that. And lastly, you can change the view here, spectrum and peaks. So you can physically see what's going on and what the plugin and all that sidechaining and envelopes are doing to the actual signal. And then if you like that preset, you can go ahead and save it. Click the little drop down, save preset as, and then you can name it LuxeVERB me. hit save, and then it should pop up in this section right here. Whenever we want to grab that same preset that we just made, we could just go into the drop down and click on it and open it back up again. You would just have to reconnect the tracks that you want to sidechain together. That's going to do it for this one. If you want more videos like this on the new plugins in FL Studio, let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to share this with a friend if you get me. See you in the next video.